It's a spring snowstorm hitting the Front Range today, and it's kind of a mix of everything. Snow in some spots, rain in others, and a mix everywhere else.
Yeah, especially to the west, and we've been covering Morrison, all over the metro area. I-70 closures, in fact, in some areas. We have you covered, taking a look at the entire metro area.
Live from Fox 31 Denver, this is Good Day, Colorado.
So our buddy Brooke Wagner picked the perfect day to sleep in and take the day off. So she is not with us this morning, but I'm Kirk Yonke. It's great to have you.
And I'm Shawl Turner. And as you can see, we're outside here at Fox 31. We're hearing the rain down there on Lincoln Street. Yes. We hear the tires hit the water, but tires are hitting a lot more than that in the high country. Kirk, I know you've got that ice right there.
This is the
snow on the flowers.
Yeah, the slushy, wet stuff that we've been seeing here in downtown. Depends on where you are. And so that's why we've got our teams all over the place. We've got Jim Hooley up on I-70. We've got McCready Agater down there in Lone Tree, and our Pinpoint Weather Tracker driving all across the metro area here.
That's right. Ken Clark keeping an eye on your roads, and Laura Velasquez letting you know what's bound to happen a little bit later. Laura, what is this stuff gonna kind of dry up a little, huh?
I tell you what, Shawl, it has been a long 24 hours for the folks along the Front Range. We've got about another 6 hours of some steady rain and snow before it begins to lighten up just a little bit. So here's those latest totals. Near Idaho Springs, just to the northwest, coming in now, 24.3 inches near Evergreen, the top of Beaver Brook Canyon, 24 inches, Conifer at 18, DIA 4.6. Here's the thing about that. Most, if not all of that, has melted away now that warmer temps have moved in. A lot of that fell prior to midnight, so that's the slush that you saw Kirk holding in his hand out on the Fox 31 deck. Here's the rain snow line really straddling 470 on the west and south sides of town. So when you go south of the Tech Center, you run into all snow. When you go west of about the Morrison exit, you run into all snow. Here in Denver and points to the northeast, including DIA, mostly a rain event from here on out. Look at the warmer temps, 35 Denver, 42 Keensburg, 43 in Greeley, nearing 50 degrees in Julesburg. So as the warmer temps move in, we'll look for all rain here around the metro area at noon. Still snow, heavy at times in the high country above 6,000 to 7,000 feet. Scattered rain showers as we go into the afternoon as we start to see that rain and snow lightening up just a little bit. So with all of this weather happening along the Front Range, we've got Fox 31 Denver reporters spread out across the Front Range to keep you posted on it. Our own Jim Hooley now in Morrison with a look at conditions there.
We are right here along I-70 now in Mount Vernon Canyon here. This is a long Lookout Mountain just at the Morrison exit. This was all shut down earlier this morning because cars couldn't get through. There were so many cars sliding off the roadway. Some of the semis stuck right in the middle of the roadway when the whole thing iced over. Fortunately, now it has cleared up, but it's still a very, very tough go. A lot of people getting ready to take advantage of all of this today. Those guys right there, yeah, hey, there you go. They're heading up to A Basin to have a good day of skiing and riding. It's going to be great for that if you can get up there. But I will tell you, as you go up the road a little bit more, it's I-70 westbound, you run into a lot of fog. The road conditions are not great. Again, some of the semis are stuck on some of the hills because they simply can't get up there. They've used the heavy trucks to pull them off, the heavy tow trucks. Take your time if you're heading up here. Wintry conditions, very wintry conditions here as you head into the high country. Jim Hooley, Fox 31 Denver. Good day, Colorado.
Yeah, those skiers and riders are going to be in for a bit of a delay as they make that drive along I-70, so those smiles could turn to frowns. But at least here in the city, it looks pretty good. I-70 West, it was closed at Georgetown. They tweeted, now it's open. The Denver-bound side of 70 shut down in 2 locations, approaching the tunnel and then from Idaho Springs into town. But I believe that portion from Idaho Springs might be reopened. So the West Drive along 70, it goes from open to closed, and it does it in an instant. So be ready for those delays as you travel up to your ski resorts. Metro Denver Drive not really seeing much in the way of big problems. Few delays in and around the city, a couple of slowdowns along 225. If you're catching that flight out to somewhere warm, I-70, Pena Boulevard, and even getting through security, guys, not too bad today.
Okay, Ken, thanks. And one of the hardest hit places, the South Metro area down to Castle Rock, looking pretty bad.
Fox 31 Denver's McCready Agater joins us live from Lone Tree. So she is right there near C470 and the Quebec Street exit. If you live down in Highlands Ranch, you probably know that exit well, of course, in Lone Tree. So McCready, has it switched to all rain down there yet? What are you seeing?
Well, a second ago I was going to tell you guys that it started to warm up out here, but now it just started pouring rain. So being wet out here all morning, it's not warm anymore. Snow is melting, but it's making for some very, very, very wet and slushy conditions. Look at this. This is a parking lot right off C470, and this is what drivers are dealing with all over south of the metro. side streets where plows haven't gone through are the worst, but the highways are moving along relatively good. Drivers have their windshield wipers going. The fog is rolling in pretty thick right now. Of course, just drivers going slow. Now, earlier we were seeing much worse conditions. I want to show you some video of an early morning fatal accident. It happened on Highway 83 south of downtown Parker. The Colorado State Patrol says an accident involving a car and a motorized bicycle happened. The bike rider was killed in the crash. Troopers say alcohol was also suspected as a cause. Now, back here in Lone Tree, again, very, very wet conditions. Getting worse with this rain because this fog is really rolling in and not going anywhere. It's only going to continue to be wet out here, so take your time, give yourself plenty of time to get wherever you're going today. Live in Lone Tree, McCready Agater, Fox 31 Denver, Good Day, Colorado.
Yeah, it sure did get foggy out there, McCready. Thanks for a look down south. Here's a live look kind of to the northeast, if you will, at DIA, where operations are running smoothly right now. No major delays reported, so that's good.
Isn't that surprising this morning on a day like this? Well, all runways are indeed open, and they don't even have to de-ice planes. So if you're headed out on a flight, you should be just fine. But of course, it's always a good idea to check your flight status ahead of time. And if you're traveling via Pena Boulevard, you know that big curve that goes around, slow it down on a day like this. That really gets icy.
I've been following the updates on the airport's Twitter page, and they've been basically saying the same thing, that all is smooth. So let's get on the phone right now because, of course, the roads are an issue. I mean, the planes may be fine without the de-icing, but the roads, depends on where you are. Amy Ford from CDOT joins us now. So, Amy, up in the mountains, that seems to be the trouble spot. Are you guys focusing a lot of your attention up there this morning?
We are. I'd love to say that our Twitter page has been pretty quiet today, but it has not. So we've had really a ton going on up in the I-70 corridor. And in fact, for the second time this year, and we haven't done it very often, who would have thought we'd do it at the end of April, we have an all-change requirement right now for vehicles, which means all vehicles, passenger cars as well as trucks. It means you've got to have good snow tires or chains in your car if you're going up to the high country.
Yeah, Amy, I know in areas, especially in the high country, that is the law. You better have those chains. And also, when you see those trucks out there, you want to give them a lot of room. I know that can be a real issue with visibility if you get too close.
You really do. I mean, the splashback, obviously, things in the metro area are starting to dry off just a hair, but down south it's not. It's continuing to rain down there. And so the slush and the splashback is tough, both from our plows and both from other vehicles. And when you add that to rolling fog coming in, you've got some visibility challenges. So stay back and give yourself plenty of room.
10 cars length. I know that's the rule of thumb. Thanks a lot, Amy Ford.
I know it seems a lot, but do it, please.
Yeah, you can. Better safe than sorry for sure.
That's
we
the
always
truth.
say that, and it is so true. So, Laura, you've been watching a lot this morning, including the snow that is still falling in some spots. This isn't over by any stretch of the imagination.
It is not over, Kirk. In fact, we're looking at still moderate to heavy snow for another 6 hours or so into the early to middle portion of the afternoon. So we're not so concerned with the eastern plains. We're warm enough that what we're going to see is rain, perhaps even a few thunderstorms. But from right around the west side of C470, as you head west and climb an elevation above 6,000 and 7,000 feet, the higher elevations, I could easily see another 6 to 9 inches of snow coming down in those locations, but not nearly as big of an issue in and around the metro area. In fact, we're just about done with the snow. I'm not saying you couldn't see a few of those heavy wet snowflakes mix in from time to time, but in terms of any accumulations, Littleton to Ken Carroll, Morrison right on the edge here on whether or not they see another inch or two of snow. Certainly, though, if you have plans going west today, give yourself a lot of extra time. Many folks wanting to hit the ski resorts. It'll be worth it if you get there in one piece. So just take it slow. We know we've been listening to Ken Clark all morning, and it's rough going west.
Yeah, you can't get there. I mean, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's one of those deals like, let's take a look at the tunnel. These are moving pictures. This isn't just a snapshot. There's nobody up there. People are trapped because they can't get there because the I-70 drive was shut down. It was shut down at Georgetown. It's taken people a longer time to get to the top of the hill. Loveland Pass is also closed. You just heard that everybody west along 70 has to have adequate tires or snow chains. It's everybody. Semis, box trucks, you and me in the SUV, everybody has to have it or you'll get a ticket if you cause a problem. Metro Denver, not bad. We continue to track a very calm Friday drive here in the city. The fact that a lot of these schools have delayed their start has alleviated a lot of these delays getting in and around downtown. So Shawl and Kirk, it's the tale of two drives. If you're in the city, the skiing is terrible, but the drive is nice.
When is the skiing good in the city? I don't know if it ever is. But
some of the parks, I don't know.
That's true.
Okay.
All right, guys, we got a lot more coming up here on Good Day at 10 minutes after 8, and we're keeping track of the roads. You can see our pinpoint weather tracker is out and about, watching for those trouble spots.
Be right back. Well, actually, before we